As Israel and Iran exchange fire on June 8, the United States now breathes political and diplomatic fire, scrambling to contain a crisis that is spiraling across the Middle East. President Trump publicly scolds both Israel and Iran, urging an immediate halt to strikes as Washington tries to project control while its closest regional ally defies calls for restraint. Stop shooting, immediately, Trump pleads, raising the question of whether the White House can still rein in its closest ally at a moment when escalation seems to have a momentum of its own. Meanwhile, a massive explosion has been reported in Iran's capital, Tehran, raising urgent questions over whether senior diplomat Abbas Araghchi and other top officials are safe. The blast reportedly shook the foreign ministry building in Tehran, even as a fragile ceasefire is said to be in place. Iran released dramatic video purporting to show its missiles pounding Israeli territory in what it claims is a third wave of attacks, signaling that the confrontation is far from over. Calling Israel's actions a dangerous game, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps earlier warned of serious consequences after a reported strike on an Iranian facility. Irgc missiles then targeted Haifa in retaliation, Iranian sources claimed, framing the attack as a direct response to the earlier attack by the IDF. At the same time, Iran-backed Houthi forces in Yemen have also launched a missile attack on central Israel, underscoring how Tehran's allies are widening the battlefield beyond Iran and Israel themselves.
In line with confronting the American and Zionist aggression against the axis of jihad and resistance in Iran, Palestine, Lebanon, Iraq, and Yemen, and in rejection of the Zionist project seeking to establish what is so-called Greater Israel under the name of the New Middle East, and in our endeavor to break the unjust and oppressive siege imposed by the American enemy on our people and the free and day peoples of the Axis in Lebanon, Gaza, and Iran, and based on the principle of unified fronts and confronting enemies, and in response to the Zionist aggression against Lebanon, Iran, and Gaza, the Yemeni armed forces launch a missile barrage targeting sensitive Israeli enemy targets in the occupied Rafah region. The missile strikes achieve their objectives with precision, and in this context, the armed forces affirm the following. First, we declare a complete and total ban on Israeli maritime navigation in the Red Sea, and we consider all enemy movements to be legitimate military targets for our armed forces from the moment this statement is issued. Second, we affirm that we will respond to escalation with escalation, and our military operations will intensify in accordance to the field developments, the battle, and in conjunction with the axis of jihad and resistance. Third, we affirm the right of our people and the peoples of our free nation to confront the American-Israeli aggression. We will not stand idly by in the face of the unjust siege imposed on our people and the peoples of the axis of jihad and resistance in Palestine, Gaza, Iran, Lebanon, and Iraq. All the enemy's attempts will fail, Allah willing, and our operations will continue as long as the aggression and siege against us and the axis of jihad and resistance persist.
Meanwhile, Iran's foreign ministry slammed the United States for restricting its World Cup delegation, accusing Washington of using visa limits and travel curbs as a political weapon.
You made an interesting comparison. The previous World Cup in Qatar was organized very efficiently, and it was a good experience for us as well. This time, as you mentioned, 3 countries are jointly organizing the tournament, and unfortunately we may be witnessing one of the most politicized sporting events because of the actions of the United States. We, of course, thank Mexico for the cooperation it has shown in hosting Iran's national team, but the actions of the United States should be counted as part of its hostility toward the Iranian people. We are talking about Iran's national football team, and naturally, like the more than 40-something other teams that are qualified for this event, it should be able to carry out its activities free from discrimination, pressure, and stress. A significant portion of FIFA regulations and the host government's obligations have already been violated up to now, including the failure to issue visas to a considerable number of team members who, under FIFA regulations, should have been granted visas. In addition, regarding the timing of national teams' access to stadiums in the United States, FIFA rules require that teams be able to familiarize themselves with the venue stadium at least 48 hours before the start of a match. We regret that the United States has not even spared the realm of sports from its mistreatment of and pressure on the Iranian people. Nevertheless, we have full confidence in our national football team. We know that our young players and the members of the national team will compete with determination and give their all to bring joy to the people, and we wish them every success.
Just days before the fresh Israeli attacks, Trump reiterated his confidence that the war in Iran will soon come to an end and gas prices will fall.
Because what I'm seeing from the Democrats, they're going to have some problems. And by the way, if they don't, if they win, this country is finished. We're in trouble. So I hate to say that you have no choice, but I don't think you have much of a choice. These are some very sick puppies that I'm looking at that are running for office. And on the other side, I call them the Democrats, D-U-M. You take out the B. A lot of people don't know dumb has a B. You take out the B, and you change the E, you put the U, and you have a Democrat. But their policy is just outstandingly bad, and it's really bad for the farmer because we were having record stuff, and then we had to put out a fire. We had to extinguish a nuclear weapon, a capable nuclear. This was going to be a very capable country that was going to have a massive nuclear presence, and we weren't going to let that happen. Nobody wanted that to happen. And we've largely finished that, you'll see. One way or the other is finished. It's either finished with a piece of paper or finished a more difficult way, although you could say a much easier way. As you know, with Iran, they have no navy. 159 ships in 4 days. Even Ken is impressed by that. 4 days, 159 ships at the bottom of the sea. Not that we like that, but that's the way it is. And the blockade is unbelievable. There's never been a blockade like that. The Navy is, we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. There's never been a military like it. And that's why the midterms are coming up. And I hope you people are really spiritized because we're at a point, we're going to come out of Iran very quickly and it's going to be very strong. One way or the other, whether it's a piece of paper or the very tough way, okay? The very tough way is maybe the easier way. But we're going to come out and your fertilizer prices are going to go way down, just like they were 4 months ago. Your fertilizer's down, your energy's down, your oil, your gas is all coming way down. And frankly, I thought it would go much higher than it did. I thought, frankly, that gasoline would be much higher than it was. I was in Iowa, another place I like a lot, and it was just before we started the excursion to Iran. And we passed gas stations. It was $1.85 a gallon, and we're going to get them down to those numbers again very quickly.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.